Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ MV Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We got some special guests in the building. We have Noel Durity. I try to say with his slang. And also Mark Cuban here. Welcome, fellas.
What up?
How
Thanks
you doing,
for having
man?
us.
Now, Noel, I didn't know that this was your product when I first seen your name.
But Envy doesn't have any hair, so it doesn't matter.
No, not for me. Yeah. For my son. So Twisted Comb is your company.
Yes, Twisted Up.
Twisted Up Comb. Mm-hmm. Now, if you don't know about Twisted Up Comb, that is the device that people use for their hair that kind of looks like a tennis racket.
Correct.
And it works very well. I use it for my son's hair, my little son Jackson's hair. The first time I actually looked at the product, the barber wouldn't give it to me because he said that it wasn't a good product, but it wasn't your product. And I'm going to explain why. Your product is something that could be washed. When it first came out, you couldn't wash the product. The first thing, it probably wasn't yours. It was somebody else's similar.
A lot of bootleg ones.
So it's a bootleg. So the barbers didn't like it because you have to use it on your hair, and you couldn't clean it, then they have to use it on your hair.
Correct.
But when this product came out, it kind of changed the game.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you come up with this concept and this idea of this comb that can comb kids' hair?
And as you can see, Mark Cuban uses it all the time.
My natural is ready.
It just came, it birthed out of necessity for me. So obviously in our culture, right, we've never really had something that we can wake up and go. Correct. Every hairstyle that I ever had has some type of maintenance, whether it was braids, waves, curls, texturizers. And I got into real estate. And what started to happen is that I wanted to figure out a way to wear my hair naturally and go to work.
Correct.
And my cousin came across a tennis racket, and he goes, "Bro, like you can like actually twist your hair with a tennis racket." And
how did your brother come up with what made him say, you know what? He must have been high. Moment.
You know,
let me get this tennis racket.
A lot of things happening, after midnight. You know,
all right.
But it came out. I started using it. There's obviously another product out there that you can use, which I loved. The only problem, like you said, is that A, I had to replace it like every week. B, it wasn't really portable, so I went to the club and took off my hat, and they were like, "Yo, no hats here." I was like, "Yo, I can't do my hair. It's all matted." So I just wanted to figure out a way to do this, and a tennis racket worked. It was a one-time buy, so I went and I bought 3 of them. I was like, all right, I kept one at my girl's house, kept one at the gym, one in my car, and I twist my hair for a tennis racket.
You kept the tennis racket in the gym?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go ahead.
Because, I work out.
Important.
Yeah, I wanted to wake up and go. So I did very well in real estate, and I started traveling. Mm-hmm. My boy and I went to Brazil, and I ended up losing my racket. Don't know what happened to it.
Oh, man, party done.
Yeah, so, hey, that's a song. Party done. That is a song. Shout out to Masha. So we ended up walking up and down Brazil trying to find this tennis racket, and it took me like about an hour to find it, right? OCD, relentless, had to go. Like, yo, it's too hot. I got to find it. So when I came back home, I was like, yo, it is 2016, there has to be a small tennis racket. Like, there's no way. Went on the internet, couldn't find it. Went on Alibaba, couldn't find it. Like, why would a small tennis racket exist? So I'm like, all right, I'm going to give myself 30 days to figure out this problem. I ended up shrinking it, went to my barber, and was like, bro, look what I found out. Look what I did. And he was like, yo, you have to sell this. At the time, I was like, yo, I'm not about to leave like a 6-figure job to do something that I thought was very niche, right? Mm-hmm. It's for African Americans only that want to wear their hair a certain way. Like, how big is this demographic? December of 2016, the state barber patrol or whatever you call them walked into a shop and fined them for using something called a curl sponge, right? And
that's what it was. The curl sponge you couldn't clean, right?
Correct.
That's right.
So he got fined $250 for having it. So he goes, bro, if you don't make this into a product, I am going to do it.
Ooh.
So January of 2017, I do the Long Beach International Show. It's like a hair show. I found a manufacturer down in Orange County. I got like maybe about 500 products. Sell out the first day. It's like, okay, cool. At the Long Beach show, I found out about Bronner Brothers. Mm-hmm. I was like, all right, let me go to Bronner Brothers. I only had like about 700. Sell out the first day, have nothing to sell the next 2 days. And Bronner Brothers, I found out about this show called New York, called BarberCon.
BarberCon, yep.
Went there, sold out in the first like 35 minutes.
Mm-hmm. How many?
I think that was like north of 1,000. Mm-hmm. And what was really dope about BarberCon is that they allowed me to be on stage, demonstrate it. So as soon as I got off the stage, it was gone.
Why didn't you think you needed like 2,000 at BarberCon?
At the time, it's trying to like scale, right? Mm-hmm. So in February, it was still being hand done.
Okay.
So we had this mold, and then we would get it hand done. And the problem was that I could not, for the life of me, figure out how to scale this product.
How much did it cost to make them?
In the beginning, about $7-8.
Ooh, that is
and then I had to figure out a way to solve the mesh, right? So at the time I was dating this girl, we were at Korean barbecue, and I'm looking at the grill, and I'm like, yo, like this is exactly what I need. And
That's why you're not with her no more. Y'all go to dinner, and you're talking about.
He's thinking about his hair.
yeah, the grill was like shaped like this, and it doesn't bend. So I was like, I sent the picture of the grill to my manufacturer, and he goes, yes, we can do this. So then we started switching out the mold, and we came up with the stainless steel model. And then we just started running. I went to a show in April in Connecticut called Barber Expo, the Connecticut Barber Expo.
Barber Expo, huh?
And those 4 shows, I just completely sold out. So April of 2017, I turned off the faucet on real estate and mortgages, and I decided to make this a full-time business and just do my all. Like, at the end of the day, the chips are going to lie where the chips are going to lie, but if you put in 1,000% effort, you have no regrets.
Now, Mark and Damon invested into the company, went to Shark Tank. Now, was that kind of weird? Because Damon has no hair. And I don't think Mark has the hair that helped this
not quite
product.
the right hair.
So what made you say, you know what, this is is something I can invest in?
Well, 2 things. One, you heard him, right? He knows his stuff. And, you know, there's entrepreneurs who know their business, know their company, but they don't always do the work. Noel does the work. Man, he dug in. He understood his industry. He understood the opportunity. And 2, I mean, owning the Dallas Mavericks, I might not have the right kind of hair, but I know a lot of people who do.
Correct.
Right? And so being able to platform the Mavericks and just knowing that I could take the product, just go into the locker room and just put it on everybody's chair and get feedback. And the feedback was amazing. And so, you know, we closed the deal, and we've been working together ever since. And the good part about Noel is some businesses in Shark Tank, I got to babysit. He needs no babysitting, you know. But it got off to an interesting start, right? Tell me about when you visited with me in Dallas in your car.
Oh, yeah. So my car broke down. So
Wait, go. So we meet in, like, he's staying at, OK Hotel, and
that was like an inn.
Yeah.
We can say like maybe like 3 stars.
Yeah. Mark Cuban put you in a
No,
he
got paid for himself.
I pay for myself. So like
But
I
that's a good
come from
sign.
humble beginnings,
But you're
right?
like, look, I got it. With the cheapest it comes, cheapest it goes.
Yeah,
like, to me, that's a good
Yeah.
sign.
That's a grind. I'm
man.
gonna get there.
like
make
I mean,
it,
I'm
don't
not in the
matter.
point to spend money. Like again, my man just invested a lot of money in me, right? I don't like owing people.
It should be for
right?
the business too. That might be
Correct.
the
Exactly.
business.
Like I don't need to stay in a 5-star. Like I was fine sleeping in the inn before him. I could be fine sleeping in the inn
Amen
with
to
him.
that, man. I had no
right?
problem with the end, right?
Yeah.
But the best part was, right, we didn't go like, there's no meeting room or anything. We're just sitting outside talking, right? And he goes to start up his car. And it wasn't like, okay, I got a nice rent-a-car. Right? It was a beater
Yeah.
POS, right? It was great. And then
Facts.
it didn't quite start.
Yeah.
So what did you do after that? Now you talked to Mark, and now your car won't start.
I got it jumped.
I mean, you get a jump, it was dead.
Yeah, it was dead.
It was dead.
It was one of those where you couldn't turn it off ever again until you got back home.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was Dallas, so it was a rental car, right?
Yeah,
So
it
I
was
just.
But that's even better, right? To me, that was like, okay, I love this guy, man. We're gonna do business forever because he's putting his money in the right spot. Because I can't tell you, like, the beaters I would rent when I was first getting started, like, just nasty cars that you had to buy, right? Like, my first suits were all used clothes, 2 for $99, buying used polo shirts, used everything, because that's what you have to do, right? Where are you going to put your money? And Noel was right on that path. And on top of that, he's not afraid, man. You can tell when someone truly believes in the product, they got it with them all the time. It's not selling that's helping, right? And so they're happy to talk about it, and that was Noel.
Now, you have this shirt that says sweat equity on it. So I have to ask you about this, because starting companies, right, when do you decide it's time for me to be able to actually pay myself? Because a lot of people have things that they want to do. They have bills and things to take care of, but all the money should be going into the business at first. So what's the rule on that?
Depends. I mean, like, do you have another job? Like, a lot of people are like, oh, to really prove that you're committed, you got to quit your other job. No, like, Noel stayed in real estate until he knew, right? It wasn't until he was selling products and had saved some money that he knew he could make the jump. And I was the same way. I was a bartender at night, and it wasn't until I was living 6 guys in a 3-bedroom apartment, sleeping on the floor. And then I didn't start till I got fired, and so I had no choice but to make it work. You know, and so I paid myself just based off, I ate what I could kill. You know, if I had some commissions or something that I made some money on, that's how I lived. But it was mostly, I gained 25 pounds going to bars, spending $2 on a beer and eating all the fried mushrooms I could grab. So you just do what you got to do.
Do you think it's different when you get it out the dirt, meaning, you didn't get it hand down? It was
Yeah,
no
for
generation?
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because,
for sure.
even with, you being an owner, you're different than a lot of the other owners. You're outspoken. You say what you want to say. You're like, fine,
We say
fuck
governors
y'all. Like,
now.
Yeah, exactly right.
But I think a lot of other people wouldn't do that. But I think you feel like, look, I built this. So I built it the way I want it. I'm going to do the way I want it.
Yeah, of course. I busted my ass for a reason, right? Just so I can say fuck you.
It's an
And
appreciation for the grind.
yeah, Damon calls it the power of broke. When your back's against the wall, you approach solving problems differently. But on the flip side, when you got nothing to lose, you might as well go for it.
Yeah, that's the best time.
Yeah.
Now, Noel, now that this product is flying, it's doing well, what's next for your business? Because I'm sure it has to be something. What else is next?
Yeah, so I'm trying to build it out. So the thing that was really beautiful about this product, that for me, because I live in California, right? So there's not a lot of us that in the beginning in 2016 that rocked the short and natural. And as I started doing these hair shows in the East Coast, I started talking to the people that wore their hair this way, especially the girls, right? TWAs, tiny with afros, right?
I'm about to say, what the hell is a TWA?
And it's a journey. And what I found out is that just to condense it, we have a culture where you can copy our style, you can copy our music, you can copy our swag, but the one thing that you can't copy is our hair, right? This is something that is unique to us. Our hair naturally grows up. And when a girl decides to cut off her hair and wear it natural, there is something that follows. Like, they start to love themselves more. They start to fall and like, oh my gosh, like, this is me. I don't have to wear the weave. I don't have to have the maintenance. And there's nothing wrong with it, but like, being authentically yourself, this is like a movement. It's not just a hairstyle. It's something that, especially on the East Side, like, this is who I am. This is what I'm wearing. The more of us that wear our hair this way, it's just like, yo, I want to be like that. So I want to build out the brand in a sense that it's like how Damon did it, for us, by us. I'm going to have like the whole twisted up line that you can twist your hair with the shampoo, the conditioner, the gel, coming out with another comb. That's a lot more, I guess, doesn't snack the hair as much. It's dope. I'm enjoying it. And then just this entrepreneur journey, just figuring out where to put your money now that I have it to make it grow.
Yeah, that's the best part, man. The best part of investing in somebody is the day they hit you up and go, I got all this money. I need ideas on where to invest it.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, I'm ready to pay you back all your money and then some. We're making money.
Correct.
I mean, because, to take an investment, it's not, getting an investment isn't an accomplishment, it's an obligation.
Yeah.
And some entrepreneurs realize that, and some entrepreneurs fight it. And Noel was all about it. And so it was like, he busted his ass to get where he had money to invest. And, put aside, what I got back, it's just the fact that he is there.
Now let me ask you both of you guys a question, right? Now, you both got it out the mud, got it out the dirt. It wasn't generational. Nobody gave you $1 million loan. Nobody gave you none of that stuff, right? So now they have plans that if you make over $400,000, they tax the shit out of you. Now, think about it. This is your first time. You got it out the mud. You got family. How do y'all both feel about the fact that they're going to tax people that make $400,000 more, way more than anybody else?
No comment.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. Yeah, there's two different types of taxes, right?
Now, and I'm going to ask you now,
Sure.
you're okay with it because you have way more money than Noel. But now Noel...
No, that's
first
why
time
I'm
he makes
letting him answer for
$400,000.
himself. Yeah.
Now, this is his first time. He has family. You got everybody's coming out the woodwork, right? You're Caribbean, so you got family that you don't even know yet.
Sure, but I'm also harsh, right? So I'm actually at the stage. Shout out, I just got engaged.
Oh, congrats.
I proposed yesterday.
Oh, congrats.
wow.
Thank you very
Here
much.
you are now.
Yes, here I am now. So I'm at the stage where it's like, I'm a way better executor by myself. Like, it's hands down, because there's no other emotion. Like, being in a relationship requires a lot of emotional intelligence, right? So I'm thinking about,
He's a lot smarter than I am.
right? I'm going to be a husband. I'm going to be a father. I'm going to have kids. I want to take care of my mom. I want to take care of my dad. I want to take care of my direct family, right? It's a conversation that I have with my CPA, and it's something that I've always believed to give back. If you have more, give back. But I'm a firm believer, like, knowledge is the best way to give back. There's a saying, you teach a man how to fish, he's going to eat for a day. Teach him how to fish, he can eat forever, right?
Correct.
Everything that I've ever learned how to do, I'm not an engineer. I learned how to do this through Google and YouTube and just trying, having the courage to, like, yo, if I fail, I fail, but, like, go out and do it.
Yeah, but let's go back to tax.
So what are your thoughts? Because he's a first time.
I'm telling you where
So now how does he?
So when I
feed
was
his family?
broke, right, and I started getting paid, I remember I was 26 years old and I made $100,000. And I just thought I was the shit. It was the best thing ever, man. I had $100,000. And I didn't even know what my tax rate was. And I didn't care, right? Because I knew if I kept on busting my ass, I can make more. And there's, did I like how the government spent it? Not always, right? Did I argue that government needs to be more efficient and smarter of how to spend money? To this day, I'll make that same argument. But at the same time, man, what I got, I busted my ass, but there's a whole lot of people around me that busted their ass. And so, I never really worried about tax rates. Now, did I like writing that check? Like when I first got the big check and you don't even want to know how much I've written in checks. Did I like it? No. But did I respect it and realize that, I contributed to other people's well-being? Yeah. And
I can't, I can't, and I'm going to tell you why. When you look at a company and they say that they're $1 billion company,
right,
and they pay $750 in taxes, and you look at yours and you be like, God damn, I paid way more than that.
Let me just explain that, right? Okay.
Please.
Not that I'm standing up for anybody not paying taxes, right? But what I'm saying is, I invest in a lot of companies, and not all of them are like Noel, right? And twisted up. A lot of them go belly up. Like out of my Shark Tank companies, probably 25% of them turned out to be idiots that are just done. And so when you lose money like that, you get to write it off.
Correct.
And so if in the case of big companies like Amazon, the way that they get those taxes down to zero is by investing in new research and development and new things. And so all those things that make their service better, the government encourages you to invest in those things because they create jobs, they create new technologies, all that stuff. So if we stop encouraging those things, I think we go backwards, right? Now that said, if Jeff Bezos benefits and he puts cash in his pocket, pay more.
That's when he pays, right?
That's when you pay your way, right?
Now, let me ask you this. And Mark, I've heard you say before that you don't believe in taking loans from banks or like that's the best idea.
To start a company.
Start a company.
Right.
But when it comes to you, Noel, saying that, okay, I want to get an investor, because sometimes for people, that's a hard decision because now I'm giving away a percentage of my company. I know you give away a higher percentage because I saw the episode. It's a very dynamic pitch. But you gave away a larger percentage than you had anticipated. So how do you make those decisions, and what was going on in your head? Because you wanted to give up 15%. And
well, I mean, I got two sharks, right? So for me it was the mentorship, right? I'm a firm believer that, go work, go save the money before real estate, before mortgages, before it twisted up. I was serving tables, and I served tables for 3 years and saved $100,000. That was my goal, and it was very.
Say that again.
it was very easy because in my head I was like, I live off one job, save the other two jobs. I had 3 serving jobs, and I lived across the street, so I would literally walk to all 3 jobs and go back home, save and repeat. And I go, I don't know what I want to do with my life, but I know at the age of 25, if I have $100,000 in my bank account, life is going to be a lot easier.
Absolutely.
And that was my why. So if anyone that has a dream or wants to go out and wants to get money, there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm a firm believer that there's something that gets created when you do the work, because that gave me the confidence to be like, I can start a company from scratch and go on Shark Tank and get a deal. And I got rejected 3 times. The 4th time was like, oh yeah, you're going on. And it's just.
So you tried to go on Shark Tank 3 times. 3 times they turned you down.
Correct.
There's 30,000 companies a year that apply,
Right.
and they say no to.
If you don't make it on Shark Tank, like if you don't get a shark to invest, do you still have, because I've heard this, I don't know if it's true, do they still have to give up a percentage?
No.
Okay.
No. When they first started, before I came on the show.
You changed that.
Yeah, that's what they want to do. And then I got on there and I tried to sell one of the companies I invested in. They're like, no, you got to pay this percentage. I'm like, fuck that, right? If you want me to stay on the show, then you got to get rid of it. And then it got rid of it.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Now, how many employees do you have now?
I have 1.
There's 1 employee.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't even call him an employee. He's just a contract worker. Yeah. And then I have a CPA that does my books every month.
Now, I want to ask you a question. I want to go off the limb a little bit. I want to talk about COVID and COVID vaccine.
Okay.
NBA has been a big conversation.
Yeah.
What do you think about players and taking the vaccine?
I think it's a mistake if they don't, but it's their choice, right? I think they're putting their families and their coworkers at risk, and it's a mistake, but I can't force anybody to do anything. Would I like to see the NBA require vaccinations? Yeah, but that's not my call. At the Mavs, for non-players, we require it. I've other companies that I control, I require it. But that's my freedom as the owner, right? And I'm not going to force anybody. I don't think the government should force you to do it, but I think it's the right thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Now, back to this business thing, I want to ask you, what happens if you get into a partnership and it's not working and you don't like it, but now you're locked into an agreement? Has that ever happened?
Yeah, say you just don't like Noel. Let's say you just don't like him. He's a bad
All right.
guy.
No, it happens all the time.
Yeah, so
I'm a hard guy not to
how do
like,
you get
man.
out of that, though? Because when you sign a contract, sometimes it's hard to get that out if somebody has equity in your company.
Yeah. I mean, I'm lucky, like it's not going to change my life one way or the other, but usually I assign somebody who works for me to work with them.
Okay.
Right? But if it's just really, really bad, then I'll say, okay, we just got to figure out a way to dissolve this. It's just not working. Your expectations are different than mine, whatever it may be, then you just have to communicate. Yeah.
What's the best thing you invested in and the worst thing? I think we had Damon up here, and he told us a pie thing that he did was one of the best, and he told us one of the worst. I can't remember which was worst, but what was the best and what was one of the worst?
Twisted Up was the best.
Twisted Up. Other than Twisted Up, there was a company that ended up pivoting called Panoramic.
Mm-hmm.
And so they came out with this software that you put in an iPhone 5, so I'm dating it some, and it would make it turn and do a panoramic picture. Then they changed the layout of the iPhone, and they had to take the technology, and we pivoted to doing computer vision for cars online.
Saw this one.
Yeah. And
gotta
so,
exit.
the guy completely changed his business. And so like if you go to Carvana and you can look at a car and you can open the doors and spin it, that started from that software on Shark Tank. So we sold it for, I don't want to say the exact number because I'm allowed to, but let's just say he got a lot of stock. And when he got the stock, the stock price of Carvana was like $18, and now it's like $300.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that went well.
Okay. Now, what was one of the worst ones?
There's a lot of them.
that
There's
just
a
didn't
lot.
work,
So I'll
right?
tell you one, like when I first went on the show, I was a guest shark, right? And I'm like, this is a business, so this shit ain't gonna last. And so I'm just gonna buy everything and just try to raise some help.
That's when you know you got a lot of money. I'm just going to buy everything and just fuck shit up in
That's
there.
what I did. I just fucked it up. Damon, they were all stunned, right? And so there was this one company, I'm not gonna lay her out, and she had chocolate covered pretzels. And we had a deal set up where I was going to help her sell them to Neiman Marcus in Dallas. And I knew when it aired that they were going to blow it out. And so she sold them for $29.95 for the chocolate covered pretzels. And her cost was $14. And I gave her, I think, $75,000 to do the deal. And so on air night, I'm thinking, okay, this thing's going to blow up. And I'm getting reports on her cash. And her cash is going down instead. I'm like, what the hell? She goes, oh, we were selling them for $29.95. Our cost was $14. Our shipping was $16. We decided to give away the shipping for free.
Oh, my God.
Oh,
like,
my goodness.
Wait, shipping was 16?
Yes, and she decided to get, because she thought she'd get the customers and da-da-da. I'm like, but now you're out of money. Well, you'll give me, no, I won't. And that was it. It was over. Bam.
Wow.
That is
Yeah.
true. There's a lot of unexpected costs, right? Because I started a pressed juice business, and shipping it to other places has
It's
been
expensive.
Yeah, because you have to have the cold packages, and then you have to do it quickly. You can't just do like regular ground shipping because it has to get there
And
in a certain
what kind
amount
of
of time.
business was it?
It's a pressed juice company.
Oh, pressure. Okay.
But we're still good. We're in supermarkets now. I had to
Good.
actually restart it. I had to.
That's a hard ass business, right?
Yeah.
Because is it refrigerated? You got
Yeah, it's refrigerated.
That makes it even harder,
But
right?
what actually helped us, because when I first started, I thought it would be mostly like online sales. And that is true. Sometimes your business doesn't go the way you anticipate.
Exactly right.
And you have to go
Facts.
back and start it over again. And so I took a little break and I came back to it. So now we're in, we started off in 16 supermarkets in Louisiana and Rouses.
Nice.
And then now we're in Stop and Shop in New York City area. And we do
Nice.
local free shipping. So we have a van
Right,
so that
right.
we
You can just take it around, right?
Yeah, in
Because
the New York
shipping those
City
bottles is expensive.
area. But then, and so as you grow and you're able to produce more for less money, it makes more sense.
Yeah.
And then probably doing something with Amazon would be.
Well, that's still, you got to ship, right?
Yeah.
But if you can keep on growing local where, and your sales keep on growing because you got a good product, That's the way to go.
And then
right?
be able to get those pallets. And another thing is like getting your stuff in stores and being able to keep it there. Because it's one
That's
thing to
hard.
get inside of a store. It's a
Yep.
whole nother thing.
That's what we talk about in Shark Tank all the time, man. Because when you go into refrigeration, you took someone else's spot.
Right.
Right. They don't keep them just
That's
out of
right.
refrigerators, right? So you gotta earn your stay. And for pressed juice, it's trendy, but it's hard.
Yeah.
You know.
Now, how do you deal with knockoffs?
Did you hear this story?
No, I didn't.
So, again, at the time, I did get knocked off, right? And at the time, wasn't married, didn't have any kids. This is my baby, right? First thing I've ever started from scratch, and I saw it grow.
He went and fought everyone.
Yes, I did. So what happened was that through Instagram, people kept sending me DMs. Yo, there's a knockoff here. There's a knockoff there. There's a knockoff here. And I got to a point where I couldn't look at myself in the mirror. I had to be able to do something. So I called Mark. We had a conversation. He goes, do what you have to do. I fully support it. So, all right, I called my lawyer. Like, man, I need you to write me a blank cease and desist patent letter. He writes it to me. Get on a plane. I fly to New York. I have a bunch of these, and I just go to the stores. And, man, your East Coast, beauty supply stores are on every corner.
Yes,
It
they
is-
are.
it is
Definitely
crazy.
Brand names, non-brand,
It
salaries,
is-
Whatever
mom
you
and
want.
pop
But, like,
shops,
this is street in New York where y'all literally have, 30.
Which 125th Street?
I
Probably.
can't, I literally just walked the entire street for an hour and I went into I don't understand how you have so many on one street.
It's a big business.
It's a big business. And there's a lot of black people in New York that need help with their hands.
So I did a tour and I went into every single beauty supply store from New York, New Jersey, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, Atlanta, went down to Texas, did Dallas, Houston, flew down to Michigan, and I did that whole entire thing. And I would walk into the store, have my little speech, I would smile, I would let them know that I'm not after you. I'm just trying to collect these knockoffs. If you continue to sell it, you could be held liable. Just everything that my lawyer told me that I could say. And they would hand over the product, and then they would hand over the invoices. And what happened is that I started creating a paper trail of where these combs were coming from. And a lot of these combs, where they were coming from, I had already sent the people that were distributing it a cease and desist. And a lot of people would say that a patent pending doesn't protect you, but it does, right? Because if it gets granted, you have a paper trail or you have legal documentation to go after them, because while it was pending, you sent them a cease and desist and said, you may not be violating the patent, but I'm letting you know that we're in the process of getting one. And if it does get granted and you did not cease and desist, we have a signed date certified letter that you were informed that this was pending. And then you can go after them. So the 4 main distributors had already got them last year when I first created it. And I ended up stopping all the knockoffs.
Oh, dope.
That's
Dope,
a lot of
dope.
work
Yeah.
right there,
Yeah,
boy.
I know, I know.
Dedication.
Then you deal
That
with
shows dedication.
Amazon and all that stuff.
But
Yeah.
Amazon and eBay,
Are getting better.
I love their system, because if you have a patent, if you have a trademark, especially Amazon, I have something called brand registry. You just enroll it and they immediately take it off.
Now, I have a question. What advice would you give entrepreneurs in this new day and age? Because when COVID hit, it made everybody an entrepreneur. So what advice would you give to new entrepreneurs?
There's no shortcuts. Do the work. There's no such thing as getting rich quick, right? Especially with this whole stock market trend. Everyone wants to jump into the new hottest thing. But if you look at anything that goes up, it's going to go down, right? So do the work. There is some type of confidence that comes in doing the work, right? I'm 5'8". I literally can't dunk, but I promise you that if I put my mind to it, I honestly think I can dunk at 33. I figure that I can figure out how to do it, because it's you just
Lower
gotta
the
try.
rim.
Try it.
No, you're right. Lower the rim. Lower the rim. You can do
I
it.
didn't dunk for the first time till I was 37.
Oh, wow.
I didn't dunk for the first time till I was 37.
But how tall are you?
I'm 6'2".
Okay.
2.5.
But
actually.
Nate Robinson is 5'6" and he can dunk. Muggsy Bogues was 5'5" and he can dunk. I'm not reinventing the wheel. You just follow the blueprint. Whatever you want to do, that's the other thing. Whatever you want to do in this world, you don't have to try to recreate it. There is someone that has done it. Just go online and follow the blueprint, right? Damon John is a perfect example. He's black, he's an entrepreneur, and he's very good at it.
Right.
So I can't make the excuse that I can't be a successful black entrepreneur, because there's many of them that are doing it. I just go out there and do the Earn Your Leisure guys, Rashad, even yourself. You guys are out there promoting financial education. There is no excuse. Go online and learn something. Go on YouTube, go on Google and immerse yourself and learn something new every single day. Treat it like a job.
What would you say, Mark?
Watch Shark Tank.
No, I actually really love watching Shark Tank. First of all, it comes on a lot. But I learned a lot about how to pitch. And like I've hosted things like Demo Day in Detroit. They do a demo day where locally they're able to pitch. I'm hosting Black Entrepreneurs Day for Damon John.
Oh,
also.
that's great.
Yeah, so I love watching people pitch, and like I said, Noel, yours was really good because it was entertaining, it was interesting, and you had a great product. And that's really where it all starts.
Exactly.
But if you can passionately speak to what it is that you're selling or that you're trying to get an investment in, I think that means a lot, and you have a lot of knowledge about it.
Yeah, Noel was exactly right. You got to do the work, right? It's not like, okay, I'm starting a business, now it gets easy. No, it's the exact opposite. You know, like I tell everybody, you got to work like someone's out there trying to kick your ass all day, every day. Business is the ultimate sport. Like I could talk to Luca about basketball all day, but the game's 48 minutes, maybe some overtime. You got an hour, 2 hour practice, and then you got to go get some rest, right? Business is the exact opposite. There's someone trying to kick your ass all day, 24/7, by 365, by every day, and you don't even know who you're playing, right? It could come out from Noel, it could come out from you guys, it could be New Press Juice, right? Someone's out there trying to kick your ass, and so I just always try to be prepared, and that's what every entrepreneur's got to do. You got to kick their ass before they kick yours.
Now, what would you do in a situation like, has this situation ever happened to you? Like we look in Philadelphia where a player does not want to check in to practice.
Yeah.
The team wants to go to fly them. He doesn't want to see it. So what do you do in that situation?
I mean, you got to do your work early. You know, you got to know it's coming, and I've had similar, not the exact same, but similar situations where you got to try to develop relationships, and it's not always easy. And it doesn't always work, and you also got to, you know, like an entrepreneur, you got to be brutally honest with yourself. You can't lie to yourself. Right? Teams, entrepreneurs always say, oh, my product is the best, you know, and everybody else is thinking, no, it ain't it. And teams are the same way. You got to know what your culture is, and you got to know what the chemistry is. And if you see even the slightest hint of something, you got to go to work and try to figure it out.
How do you not get personal with even with players or employees, you know? Because your players are really your employees. You're paying them to work. How do you not get personal with them? Like, because, you know, this is your team. This is your squad. And how do you not get personal to a personal level?
You do get personal, right? All good businesses are personal, but not everybody's going to let you in the same way. You know, other people, you know, I might not be as communicative or as open to different people that I work with, right? Everybody's got different relationships, and you've got to respect the relationship. You also have to understand. But the other thing that we do with the Mavs is we have a team psychologist. And that guy, so that guy's there to talk to everybody about anything, and it's 100% confidential. And so you want to have guys to have an outlet so that if something's going wrong, either he's going to feel confident to tell you something's wrong, or he's going to feel confident to work it out with the team psychologist so you can deal with it.
Do most teams have that?
What's that?
Do most teams have
I hope not.
Psychologist?
Now, Mark, you seem like the coach that, like, as let's say a high school coach that will curse at you but would love you, like, wake the fuck up, and then give you a hug after the game.
Of course. Yeah.
It seems like in the NBA or in any sports right now, you can't do that right now. If you say wake the fuck up, they'll be like, he hurt my feelings.
It's different.
I'm going to human resources.
Dudes are different now.
Like, it seems like that now, you know?
Yeah, it's different, right? Because I think social media changed everything. You know, a 19, 20, 21-year-old kid is different than a 26 or 27-year-old in the NBA. You know, someone who grew up as a brand on social media is a lot more sensitive because they're used to everybody watching them and commenting on their social, you know, kids like on TikTok or Insta. You know, you're going through your comments to see what people say, and if someone says something that you don't like, you're going right back at them, or you're upset, or you're talking to somebody. And so you got to recognize that now, and you've got to communicate differently, you know. And look, I've been in this business 21 years now, and how I dealt with Dirk and Steve Nash and Michael Finley and Gary Trent when I first bought the team was different than 2010 Dirk, and dealing with guys in 2010 different than 2015, different than 2021 and 22. It's just, that's the way life is, right? People evolve and things change, and but you've got to communicate better now, right? Because you're right. You know, it's not that they're more sensitive, but they're a lot. Yeah, sensitive is the right word, right? Because
and they're a lot more exposed right now.
Yeah, you're a lot more
And
exposed.
vulnerable.
And vulnerable is the right word to put with it, right? Because everything you do, you guys know this from your own lives, right? Everything you do, somebody's making a comment on. And you're exposed that way, and it's hard not to be sensitive about it. You've got to build thick skin. Like if someone says something on me online, I can't tell you how many Twitter and Instagram comments I've deleted. Right? We all
You
do.
typed it out, and
right?
it's like,
yeah, you're like, bam, you want to, the competitive side of you just wants to go back at somebody, and you just can't, right? And if your team is supposed to be your safe spot, right, where it's your teammates and people that care about you, and whether it's coach, owner, whatever it may be, yeah, that vulnerability is different. Yeah, I hadn't really thought about it till you guys just brought it up, but you're right. You've got to recognize that people who are visible are very vulnerable, and people who are making the comments get a lot of courage that they haven't earned, right, to say anything.
Right.
And so
it's not just reporters making comments.
No, reporters
now
you can
it's,
deal with.
Now
yeah.
it's everybody having something to say.
Yeah, 'cause
Everybody's
reporters, like coming in media, whatever, you guys got a job to do, right? So you know where you're coming from. But when just every Tom, Dick, Harry, Susie, Bobby, whatever is just quote,
a basketball expert now.
Yeah, the new GM, right?
Right.
Yeah, you suck, Cuban, sell the team, da-da-da-da-da.
That's
and
funny.
worse, right? You hear that stuff, and it's hard not to just get combative. And so imagine if you're 19, or 20, just coming into the NBA and dealing with that. You're not even a year out of high school.
Right.
And now you're dealing with not only the pressure of being in the NBA and trying to define a career and trying to figure out who you are in this new job, and your world just changed. You're getting paid more. This is your dream come true, and people are just torching you.
You can't even have an off day.
You can't have an off day, right? And you're looking, the way you deal with your friends is on social, right? And you communicate, and it's a way to keep your extended family friend base going, and then all in that mix. And if you're trying to be open and your DMs are open for different reasons, you're going to get shit on all these different places. So how do you deal with that?
There's an interesting insight to all this, like what you were talking about, right? So when you do the work, you develop self-love. And I honestly believe that when you have self-love, all these comments and stuff don't really affect you, right? Because you know who you are as a person. So when you come into a lot of money and you're a basketball player and you have these sports people saying that, oh, he didn't really want it, or he can't play that hard. And it's really dumb to see two teams that are playing for the NBA championship and say that they don't really want to win.
Yeah.
Right? I don't understand. Yep. Right? But then if you listen to those comments and you believe it, all of a sudden you start to play differently, right?
Well,
but if you have self-love because you've done the work, then it doesn't matter what the reporter tells you, because you know who you are and no one can tell you who you are.
Yeah, and difference between it's similar in that with entrepreneurs, your numbers tell you how you're doing, right? And but with a basketball player, there's always that insecurity, like, okay, what if I get hurt, right? Or what if I'm not getting the minutes? Or what if our style of play isn't conducive to my game, right? And it's so Darwinian, one zig when you want to zag and your career's over.
Right.
There's lots of dudes that, you thought, oh my God, this guy's going to be great. Right. And then where is he now?
Yeah.
And so that insecurity is in every player, and it drives a lot of players. But some guys, if you to be one of the 450 best players in the world.
Yeah. To play in the NBA, yeah.
Yeah, just think about that. But if you're number 350 to 450, you probably don't have a guaranteed contract. You don't know if you're going to have a job next year, and you don't quite know everything you have to do because you're not getting all the minutes.
Right.
And so
now, how do you create your team with this era of super teams now, right?
Yeah.
I'm from the era where somebody stayed on that team till they died. Like Patrick Ewing damn near died as a New York Knick,
Dirk,
Dirk, So how do you combat that as an owner? Like, when you look at the Lakers and you look at the Nets and you look at how
do you feel about that?
Players are now talking to each other like, hey, Noel, me and you, let's go to Washington, play for Washington. Then we'll bring you in, we all play together. How do you combat that?
It's just part of the business.
Yeah.
If I can create a good environment where people want to come play with Luka, which I think they will, and come play with KP, which I think they will, come play for J. Kidd and Nico Harrison, then people want to come here. It's a very Darwinian business. You just got to keep on innovating. You got to be agile, and that's what I try to do.
Do you like that part of the business, these super teams?
It really doesn't bother me one way or the other, honestly, because, karma's a bitch. You got it. as much as some of the super teams work, I remember back in 2010-11 season, there was a super team that got put together and got knocked off by a team that only had one All-Star.
Right.
You know, and everybody thought we were going to get destroyed. And then they won a couple, then LeBron leaves. You know, and so it's fragile. You know, you look what happened last year.
Right.
You know, teams had injuries.
Injuries, correct.
Yeah. Now, you know, COVID. You know, we got beat up last year with COVID, where we had like 6 of our top 8 guys out with COVID for a bunch of games. And, you know, there's just so many uncertainties in this business that, you know, as long as everybody plays by the same rules, I'm good. You know,
But just
you
keep in
never know
mind,
what can
Noel
happen.
said he can dunk, so if you ever need an extra play,
right?
He didn't say he could yet.
Dunk. He said he could work on it.
I
to
can
get
work
better.
on it.
Yeah, not yet. And you know what?
But if I put my mind to it, I could.
just if you need them.
Yeah.
If I need them.
You know what I did want to ask when it comes to business too? With everything that's been happening the past couple of years, a lot of focus on Black entrepreneurship and Black women as entrepreneurs, because we start a lot of businesses but get the least amount of money. Is that something that gets taken into consideration now on Shark Tank? Because it's a huge conversation now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you look at the number of people of color with businesses that come on this season, season 13, which premieres October 8th on ABC, you're going to see a lot more. I think the pandemic, that's one area, like you were saying, DJ, Envy, that people started a lot more businesses. Everybody that was at
Had no
home,
choice.
started businesses, and we saw a lot of that. I invested in a woman, Arlen Hamilton, who is a Black woman who goes out there and invests only in people of color, and you'll see a lot more in that. And it's interesting because just like Noel, you know, started in his community, saw an opportunity, and then built it out. That's what we're seeing more of. Because when we talk about there being fewer entrepreneurs that are people of color, that's a unique opportunity because the communities are still huge and have a ton of money. And now that we're starting to see more like yourself and others getting there, if you sell local, then you build to regional, like Noel has done, and national and international, like Noel has done. That's the opportunity, because people that look like me aren't there, you know, in those communities to build those businesses. A lot of people think, okay, what works there, we'll just move into those communities. When it's the exact opposite. The closer you are to your customer, the better business that you can build. And I think we're starting to see more entrepreneurs realize that, which creates more opportunities for me to invest in people like Arlen and invest in more people, both men and women of color.
Now, Noel,
applaud to you and the Earn Your Leisure guys, because you guys have us on the forefront, and you guys are having the conversation, and we're seeing people that look like us talk about businesses.
Yeah, well,
and
the
visualization is important.
We try to teach people the things that we don't know, and we try to encourage people and show them how to do it.
Correct.
Without taking somebody's money. Like I tell everybody all the time, a lot of people spend $10,000, $20,000 on seminars and investments.
Correct.
So my whole thing is, I'd rather you take that $10,000, $20,000 and try. Because if you're going to lose it, you're going to lose it.
Correct.
But at least you try, you put your effort to it. And we just try to encourage people and show them there is a way. That's why I love products like this, where you can say, no, I started from nothing, and I came up with this an idea, and it's actually working.
Correct.
Like hard work. I didn't have to sell drugs. I didn't have to do this. I didn't have to do anything illegal. I'm trying to do it. I'm doing it the right way, and I'm setting up something for my family. So
and it's really nice to see it. Like even I'm giving all these guys shout outs, but like the Wall Street Trapper guy, right? He wears a hat. He talks, doesn't change the way he talks, right? He comes from where he comes from. He came out of jail, and like you can relate to
He's figuring it out.
right? Like, but you can relate to his story, and
Absolutely.
like it's like people always say you got to wear a suit or you got to change who you are, but like there's all these other people that look like us that are just absolutely
Killing it.
And like applaud to you, applaud to the EYO guys that are having a platform that is showing the world that like, yo, there's guys out there. There's another guy that started like a Toro business making money. And it's like, yo, just
ways to do it.
get out and try.
Well, tell people how they can get your product if they want to get your product, and give them your Instagram and all that good stuff.
Yeah, so you can go to our website, twistitupcomb.com. Go ahead and cop that for us. There's a code, TwistMe10. You can go ahead and get 10% off if you use it.
You got one for me now?
No, you got to buy it. Envy support. Why you
Give it up 10%? Come on.
Okay.
Now. I said I need to buy one. I use it for my son. I use it for my son all the time.
And then you can also get it on Amazon. You can find us in beauty supply stores across the East Coast, and coming to a retail store near you.
Have you done any NFTs yet? Or
I have not. So I'm like really big in
It's telling
stocks.
you to, I'm
yeah,
sure.
I'm really big in stocks. I have some crypto. I'm just trying to find ways. My bread and butter that I love, I call it my wife, is real estate, because the first business I've ever made 6 figures in. And I just love rental property, because no matter if the economy goes up or down, you still got to pay rent.
Well, not right now.
Yeah. That's changing though. Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you guys for joining us, Noel, Lamar, Cuban. Thank you so much for joining us, and keep us updated when you got the new products. Come on back and let's share these products with the world.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you very much.
All right, it's the
thanks for having
Breakfast
us on.
Club. Good morning.